All right, guys. So I thought I'd go ahead and make a little video, just kind of working on this a little bit more. And you guys can watch it at your leisure tomorrow. So anyway, so here we are with the turret so far. I've started to work on the neck. And then we have basically the base plate here. This is going to attach to essentially a tripod. And so this thing would be able to elevate and move around. And then be able to turn left and right. And then also there's some other parts and stuff I want to kind of work into here. So anyway, so let's go ahead and start kind of working on some mechanical features of this one. So let's go ahead and do, put a little cylinder in here. So my plan is I'm actually going to be making a mounting bracket that I can use both on the bottom and on the top, and then use and make a piston that can go back and forth. And actually, so part of this project is to think about the model you're making in mechanical terms. So in terms of having like actual physical joints that it could actually move on, or it could work with. So that's something you need to consider with these models. So if it's gonna, if it's gonna hinge, how does it hinge? What's the range of movement going to look like? How do you model it to have that range of movement? It needs to be, it doesn't have to be mechanically, working or workable, but it needs to at least be somewhat believable that this is a robotic piece or a mechanical piece that could actually function in the real world. So, all right, so I got these pins here, but they're still not attached to the robot or the turret body. So I'm gonna do is actually, let's take, I want to take this, where's this base? Right here. I'm gonna actually move this down a little bit. And then I'm gonna take this. I just want to give it basically just a little bit more breathing room. Move that down. And move this down. Okay, so something like that. And then we're gonna have like a couple bracket pieces that go on the sides here. So let's go and do insert primitives, IMM primitives. Where are you? I am blind. There we go. So I can do it actually a cube. I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. Insert that in here. I'm holding down shift so it snaps to the proper orientation. So it's actually parallel to the screen. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and thin it out a little bit. And what I want to do is go and turn on, let's actually split unmask. So I got the cubes just by themselves. We'll go and turn on polyframe. And I'm going to go and take the top piece and actually angle it in a little bit. And then kind of bring it down. So I'm kind of just rounding this out just a little bit right here. Then I'm going to go and take, hang on a second. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take Q or Z modeler. And then let's do a insert. Let's change that to a bevel. Edge loop complete. So we'll bevel essentially that portion. Don't really want to bevel that. Let's do bevel this. So we're kind of just rounding this out a little bit. Move that down. So it just gets a little bit rounder. Looks good. Bring it up just a little bit. just mask out the bottom part, invert, and bring it back down. Okay. So something like that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and actually let's do, I'm going to paint it. I'm going to do a little inset right here. Inset, single poly, inset region. And then I'm going to go and take this new region, and we're going to do transpose polygroup island. And I'm just going to bring it out just a little bit. Just like that. Okay. And then next I'm going to just go ahead and do another bevel. Actually, I don't really need that bevel. So I got some of these points. They're making triangles for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. So what I should be able to do is do a stitch. So I'm actually going to grab a stitch. Click the first point, click the second point. You'll see it stitches them both together. So I really would like to have a clean face loop around that thing. And then I'm actually going to go and delete edge. Delete this edge, because I don't need these edges. These are literally just like tries, and I really don't need the tries. So I'm going to go and take them out, bevel, edge loop, and then what I can do is bevel this, and you'll see how it's going to nice and neatly just kind of come in, and yeah, it's going to look good. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take this a little bit further. Okay. Bring it back over here. I can bevel that. Bevel that. I'm just kind of rounding it out just a little bit. Let's do this one. So I'm just kind of rounding all this out. And I'm actually going to flatten out the bottom. So we use a trim, cut. There we go. Boom, done. Pass this out, invert. All right. We'll move in just a little bit closer. Back to this. Move that in a little bit more. There we go. All right. So one thing I probably can do is go ahead and take essentially this piece. Probably could cut a hole in it. So one of the reasons why you might cut a hole in it is so when you actually go in and render it, it can actually have like a little bit of like a crease right through here rather than looking like it's just kind of intersected through. You would want to have that hole to make it look a little bit more realistic. It would have a little bit of a shadow to it. Or, you know, what you could do is just kind of lay over a cap or something on top of it. So you don't actually have to have the hole, but you can at least say, okay, well, I'm not going to make that hole, but here's like the head of a nut or a screw or something like that. So it kind of looks like it's finished. So right now it's just a cylinder. It's not really finished like in any way, shape, or form. So actually, I think I might just do the head piece. So let's do insert. Actually, let's go back to I'm in primitives. Insert cylinder. pipe. Let's just do regular cylinder. And then, oh, there we go. So this is going to sit right on the edge. And then I'm actually going to delete let's delete these edge loops. Edge loop complete. So I need to delete this one, delete that 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 one. Basically deleting every single one of these up until the end. There we go. So that's what I want. Okay, I want to go ahead and do a split to this point. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and take this edge right here. I want to bevel it. Let's do a soft edge, 2 rows. So soften that. Soften that a little bit more if you want to. So it's going to look a little bit more like a cap. And then we can almost kind of take a little bit of a page out of like wheels and stuff where they have like those nuts that are oriented on here. So we can actually make our own if we want to. So I'm going to do a pinned cylinder, and let's actually make this into a Q cylinder. So this actually ended up being a insert mesh. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take, we're going to inset this because I need a clean poly loop that goes around it. Actually, I might get the poly loop around here anyway. So let's try that. Yeah, I can go with that. That'll work. Do a poly loop on the back. And make it just a little bit thicker. There you go. So this will be like our octanut, hex nut. It needs to be, I guess it needs to be 6 to be a hex, but you get the idea. So we could do something, something like that. We can maybe bevel this just a little bit, give it a little bit more of an edge, or a little bit more of like a roundness to the edges. So maybe they're like they've been opened or closed or whatever. So that could be kind of cool. Or we could go in and we could actually subdivide this without actually smoothing it. So one thing we can do is if we hit divide, you'll see it just rounds it out, and that's not really great. But if we turn off smooth and we hit subdivide, you'll see we have more faces. And then if we hit smooth again and then hit divide, you'll see it doesn't round off as much. So let's just turn on divide again, turn on smooth again. And so now you'll see that when we turn on polyframe, turn it back on, you'll see that it's 3,000 faces, but the model itself has a little bit roundness on the edges, but it still is maintaining the harder edges. So that's just simply just dividing with smooth turned off and then turning it back on and smoothing one more time. What we can do is go back to brush. Let's do create brush, create insert mesh, new. We're going to go back to this model. All right. And so what I need to do is I need to go ahead and turn on symmetry, which we already have. I need radial symmetry turned on. So when I pull one of the, or put one of these nuts down, it'll do like multiple ones across the side. Otherwise, it's going to be a pain in the butt to actually do symmetry. So I need to do X doesn't work, Y doesn't work. You'll see that she tries to put them around that side. Let's do Z. So that's not going to work either. So we need to do, might need to do a combination of these. Let me try Z again. Let's see, where is it trying to put these? So around there, which isn't necessarily what we want. It's actually the right direction, believe it or not, but it's not really what we're trying to achieve. And part of the problem might be because we have this model right here. So what we can try is, I'm actually going to take those caps, since they are still masked off. Let's split them. Split to unmasked parts. We'll do this. And let's do, I'm gonna turn on local symmetry, see if that helps. Yes, it does. Awesome. I'll turn on, okay, so there we go. So I can actually get these on both sides if I do, but that's gonna be a lot of this, a lot of these pieces. I don't think I really want that. So what I'm gonna have to do is just go ahead and put these in and then do a mirror. Let's do, let's just double check, see how many of these I'm putting in. I put 8, let's do 12. There we go. That's kind of a nice detail. Now, I'm not going to Dynamesh these in. Reason why is if you go into texturing, you're going to keep the you're going to keep that detail just like this, which is what I want. Subtract that just a little bit. But if you Dynamesh, you're going to ruin that. In order to keep that high resolution detail with the nuts, sitting on top of the cap, you're going to have to get like in the millions of polys. And right now we're just at 43,000, which is really kind of low for what we're doing. So don't Dynamesh. Try not to Dynamesh too much when you're doing these hard surface models, because you will lose some of this nice detailing you're working with. So let's go back to geometry, modify, mirror and weld. So that didn't work, so what I need to do is go ahead and back up. And let's do a deformation. I need to mirror it, so you'll see the nuts pop over here. And then I need to mirror and weld. Okay, so now we should have the nuts on both sides. Now we're good. Okay. All right. So I need that cap up here. So I'm going to hold down Control. And let's go back to move. I'm going to turn off radial symmetry. So I don't want to rip this thing apart. Okay. Also going to go ahead and take these pieces right here. I'm going to go ahead and I do have one more thing I want to do to them. Let's reset this. Okay. I want to take this piece. I actually want to turn it 90 degrees, turn it 90 degrees. Okay, so this is gonna be kind of like a mounting bracket. Turn it around. There we go. Just gonna look like that. And then before I go ahead and pull it back up to the other one, up here, so we have a mounting bracket up there, I do want to finish it off by putting, or actually I want to finish this off by doing a Dynamesh. Let's redo that with a higher resolution. There we go. And then we'll do a zero mesh. And then I'm gonna run a clay polish real quick. There we go. That looks better. All right. And then I can go ahead and put one big nut right there. And then we'll go ahead and pull that back over to here. Actually, I think I need to make it a little bit smaller. That'll work. Pull that one over here. Okay, now I'm good. So we can trim off a little bit. No, it's not gonna work. Okay, we'll just leave it. All right, let's do copy. And then we're going to flip it over. And we're just gonna put it right up here. So the idea is that this thing could be basically taken on and off as needed. So maybe a little bit chunky, a little bit over-engineered, but it looks like it would work. And it looks like it could like fold down and fold up and elevate and all that good stuff. So one thing we would want to do would be possibly to have this have like a piston or something that could like maybe go in between that would actually push it up and push it down. So we could actually put that in if we wanted to. So let's go and do, let's do an append. Actually, let's go, yeah, let's do an append cylinder again. Let's divide it a couple times. And I want to go ahead and kind of trim off. Let's delete lower, trim, internal transparency, trim. Okay, so there is my, there's the part of the pipe. And so then for this one, let's go ahead and take this. I need to do that. Let's do that. Make sure we center it. There we go. Bring it in. Make it longer. And basically, it's just going to be a couple pipes kind of pulled into each other like that. And this thing could articulate So what I might want to do is do another Z modeler. Go back to draw, Z modeler, and I probably would want to inset the region. It's not exactly what I was hoping for. So that's going to give me a bit of an issue there. One thing I can try is we can actually delete. Let's delete polygroup island. Just delete that. I'll delete this. I'm going to go and take, we have a, let's see, should be able to close concave holes, see what that gives us. Okay, basically the same thing. Let's try, oh, I have an idea. I'm going to go subtool, extract, click OK. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want. I don't want that thickness though. Let's try that again. Yeah, that's better. That's way better. All right, so I'll just accept that. So I'm using the extraction to essentially give me a clean face loop for the top side and the bottom side of the pipe. And then what I can do is take the original pipe bring it back in and kind of fit it. And then we can do, I want to see if I can close, I'll just close the hole that way. Close the hole there. And so that will essentially be my piston, or the beginning of a piston, okay? Let's go ahead and take both of these parts of the piston. I want to merge them together. Okay. I want to do polygroups. I'm actually going to do an auto group. So we have the two different parts separated, but it's still going to be easier for me to kind of work with these. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of make them a little bit smaller, make them a little bit longer. And the idea is that I want to be able to get it where it kind of does something like that. So it actually fits in between the two brackets. Something like that will work. So what I can try is to take maybe like one of these pieces and kind of reuse it. So let's go back to subtool. Where did that piston go? There it goes. Turn back on. Right down here. And try to reuse this just a little bit. It can be a lot smaller too. Like I don't need this to be nearly as big. Okay. Maybe actually it kind of goes down just a little bit. something like that. Actually, I think the base plate I'm gonna have to redo anyways to kind of accommodate some of this. Actually, it's gonna have to hinge, so probably, I think probably like that's just gonna have to work. Okay. Move that up and do another cylinder. You can hear my pet human screaming to be free. And then so something like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. So I'm going to take this piece, split, unmasked. So this piece is going to be taken down to basically put down to here. So I'll merge this down. So that's all merged. And I'll take that, flip it over. And that's going to have to go, let's see. Extend. Extend all the way up to about there. So something kind of like that. And actually, you know what? I could make a little bit of a recess because like when this thing sits down, it's going to run into basically hitting the arms like right through there. So I could either do a cutout on the arm or I could do a recess up in here, which honestly might make a little bit more sense. Let's do. Got everything. Okay. So let's do a inset. It's not enjoying it. It's not liking it. Inset. Single poly. Still not liking all of that with the faces. And I could do stitch. Turn some of this off. Actually, now let's turn transparency down. Maybe I can just see a little bit better. Okay. There we go. It's a little bit easier now. Okay. Okay. I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually extrude it. let's go back to this piece. Yeah, there we go. So we'll set up. Granted, this will have to angle up a bit more. But you get the idea. So now it won't be cutting through as badly. All right. Yeah, it's a lot of work just to kind of get this stuff kind of make it look, kind of realistic in a way. So it does definitely take some time. All right. Let's address the plate. I think I'd rather just have this. I'm just going to redo this piece. I'm actually going to change it into a Q cube. Where did the Q cube go? There it is. So easy way to swap out pieces if you don't like them. Click move and then go in your IMM brush. Just click another shape, it'll swap it out. So it could change it to a pipe, a cylinder, Q cube, whatever. Just makes it kind of easy to work with. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about maybe the shape this is going to take. So I'm thinking the back end might go a bit wider than the front end. Maybe look a little trapezoidal or yeah, something like that. And do you want I do want to pull this out a bit. We're going to do Z modeler, hit X, extrude this out. Extrude this out like that. And then I'm going to take these back two pieces, little corners right here, and pull them together. So we'll get something that kind of looks like Superman's emblem, the shield emblem. So we got essentially a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexagonal shape. It's kind of diamond shaped with the corners cut off. And the reason why is because then I can attach legs to that. Just going to center that just a little bit more. Try and actually bring this in. Okay. Do like that. Just reshaping this a little bit. So I'm kind of thinking for the legs, they could be maybe like walking legs or something that can kind of move around a little bit. Maybe it's told to like go in a certain direction or something. So I'm kind of sort of feeling a little bit of like a droideka or a destroyer droid from Star Wars. Those things are pretty cool. Let's do. Let me bring up the destroyer droid. So it looks like this. It's a tripod. It has like articulating legs. And so maybe this turret is something that like you give it a waypoint, it goes out and it basically shoots. So it could be something like that. I'm pulling this down. Well, actually not. Well, let's work on the legs first. Okay, it's a pinned. I'm gonna do a cylinder. And this will be like the first joint. And then we'll append a cube off of that. And actually, let's change that over to a simplified Q cube. Let's go ahead and pull them out a little bit. And then what we can do is let's add some divisions. Insert multiple edge loops. We'll do 2 and 2. I think that'll be good. And then let's also go ahead and do let's do a bevel. Just like that. And then I'm going to do an extrude poly loop. So I'm actually going to extrude this piece. I'm going to extrude this piece. It's going to look a little bit like a sandwich. And we're just going to do a single row on the bevel for this. Okay. And then I'm actually going to take the top. I want that top joint or top piece here to be wider than the bottom. So maybe it's a little bit shield-like. Kind of pull that out just a little bit. All right, let's do a taper. That'll work. Let's see. Do like that. Accept, and then we'll do another one, bend arc. Just a little bit of a rotate on there. Accept. And there we go. All right. So we'll have another joint down here. And we'll have another one. And this will be a little bit thinner. And then we can do a taper. Something like that. Accept. Again, bend arc. Just a little bit more. Accept. And we'll actually move. So we'll tip right here. So something like a little crab claw, kind of. Maybe not that much. Okay. And I'll go ahead and do poly groups, auto groups. And so go ahead and take the joints here. And these joints are just kind of, they're not really full joints. Let's go back to our insert mesh. Put on a couple caps like that. And put that. And I'll take both of these, merge them down. And it'll fit together like that. Okay. Let's go and take a duplicate, move it over to about there. You'll see that it'll kind of like look like a little crab. Actually, still got to do one more piece. So I need a bracket or something for it to actually sit on the leg with. That could literally just be like this. Let's see, we don't want that. Let's try this. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. Let's do a little bend arc real quick. Okay. Except so this piece will go, let's see, right there. And then all of this, I'm just going to kind of flatten it up a little bit. So it kind of butts into the bottom of the body. And so the leg can elevate and then actually rotate left and right if it needs to. Let's do this piece. And then this piece. Something like that. Gonna merge that down to the rest of the legs. Now we have one kind of uniform leg. And we're going to take that, rotate it where it'll fit. Something like that. Okay. It's not wanting to do, let's see. There we go. I don't know why we're not doing, oh, it's probably because I got local symmetry turned on. Let me turn that off real quick. Yeah, there we go. You're in weld. Okay. Let's see. If you're, yeah, so I'm actually building this upside down. I didn't even realize it. So let's, I guess we show you how to fix that too. Okay. Well, there you go. So there's the base. Maybe slightly over-engineered, but you get the idea. Let's go ahead and take that little nut right there. We will hide it. So I'll put it into the parts. I feel like the turret needs to be bigger for the like the size of the base. It's just not big enough. So maybe we'll do Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. So let's do a merge down. So I'll merge a few of these. Okay, that's perfect. So I want to get the neck pieces as well. Merge down, merge down. So I don't need that. So I want to actually split mass parts, bring them up. Okay, so we'll take this, merge down, merge down, merge down, merge down, merge down, and then the legs, their own piece. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna go move my pivot point down to here. Actually make sure it's centered. Pivot point down to here. Yeah, let's move it back. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Okay. That fits better. That feels better. Oh, that's a turret. Let's take some cool shots of this thing. Let's do a mat cap metal. Let's do a BPR render. And yeah, that looks pretty neat. I like it. There's always more that we can do. We could do things like wiring. We could do, honestly, we could figure out, something for the spent rounds, where they would go. We could figure out something for the power supply. This thing would have to have some sort of battery. Maybe like a battery would fit down there. The pistons would need some sort of oil tanks for the fluid to go into the pistons with, so they would need something to figure out. So there's a lot more places for this to go. So yeah, but this is kind of sort of not really finished, but it's getting there. So maybe I'll go a little bit further with it. So anyway, I'll keep going. So I'm thinking like these fins right here could be maybe like heat exchangers or something like that. Like maybe there's a maybe that's how like it bleeds off heat from firing so fast. Or it could be like partially like armor shielding, or I don't know, maybe there's like maybe these are like places where it sheds the spent rounds. Maybe like there's an action that opens up here, or bolt thing, like door that pops out the spent rounds. So there's all sorts of things that this could be. You know what? Let's go ahead and dedicate this. Let's make this. We'll have a action, basically a slide action that will open up, and then like spent rounds will basically pop out, and then this piece right here essentially keeps them from falling down into like the mechanical workings, and it also kind of works a little bit as like armor. Let's do extrude single poly. There we go. I don't know what I was trying to do. Extrude single poly. Let's poly. Why are you doing all of that? It's not really what I was wanting. Maybe let's just do a hue mesh single poly. I wonder if I have, let me turn symmetry on. It's so weird. Why is it doing it like that? Something's not working with this. Something is not symmetrical on this piece. Let me split this to similar parts. It should be composed multiple parts. Let me go back. Okay, something's weird with the symmetry on here. Let's go geometry, mirror and weld. There we go. Something was funky right there. I'm not sure what. So do something like that. Transpose this. I'm just going to rotate this very slightly. The idea is that when they pop out, they actually kind of slide back. So it'll fall behind it when it's firing. All right, we'll do draw, insert. And I'm going to do a insert, actually capsule. So I kind of want it to have the rounded edges. Come on. And we'll make it a little more circular. Actually, kind of want to keep that cap the way it is. We're just going to move this into position like that. Mask off. Move this back. There we go. And then I'm going to do a pipe. So the idea is like we'd have like a thin door that could basically like slide back and forth so that the rounds can pop out. And this would need to get a bit longer. Basically about as long as this. And maybe a little bit narrower. Something like that. Okay. And I'm actually going to delete part of it. So let's do Z modeler. And then we go back onto back over here, and I'm going to go to delete, poly loop, and we'll delete that one. We'll delete that one, okay? And then I'm going to go back to delete, and we'll do polygroup island. So I should be able to delete that whole thing. There we go. So now I just got like these pieces. And they're going to have little holes in the side. So I can go and do set, change that to close the hole, and close the hole. Okay. So the idea is that when it fires, it'll slide back, and the rounds will expel and then go down the back. Let's go ahead and split mask points. This will be by itself. Back to here, split to similar parts. And then this guy, I'm actually going to go ahead and put a well, I'm going to say it depends on how much I want to go into detail, but you get the idea. So it'll slide back and forth, basically. I figure this thing probably needs to be able to see some way. So something I could do is I could put like a little, maybe like an electronic eye or something on it where it can look around, or have like a little sensor. So that could be maybe on the front, or maybe something right about here. So we'll do, I'm thinking something like a Tachikoma from Ghost in the Shell, but they actually have like that spherical eyeball. This one might be pretty small though. So we'll do something like that. Make it pretty short. It's just going to be kind of a place where like the eyeball is going to sit. And then we can go back to Z modeler. We'll double this. I'll round that out. And then we will do a primitives, insert sphere. It's like that can be the eyeball. It needs to be just a little smaller. Yeah, something like that. Honestly, maybe I should go and do widen out this piece right here. So it's not as thick of a rim. So we'll do Z modeler. I'm actually going to use QMesh and do a poly loop. And I should be able to push in just like that. And then I can delete that edge loop right here. And then I'm going to right click and we'll bevel this one, just give it a little, because it's such a sharp edge. Something like that. We just need that little ring on it though, just a tiny little ring. And then primitives. We'll put the eyeball back in. So we can like rotate around like that. And then it probably needs like a little, it's like the Tachikoma's eyes are, like, I think like 3 little dots or something. Tachikoma. Let me see. Yeah, they got those 3 little dots. So I think we can do that. So I'm going to split to unmasked, so the sphere is by itself. And then we're going to append cylinder. Going to divide it. Just want to make it smoother. Yeah, we'll make it small. Okay. I'll delete, or I want to bring this up over here. And then right up there. Okay. So I'm actually going to put this on the top of the eyeball. So it actually will be centered. And I can always like rotate that eye around. So we'll find, where's that sphere? Right here. Put that all the way down. Let's go ahead and put this in a folder. And I'll put the cutter in there, so it'll be separate. And we'll do a live boolean. So that's kind of the idea of what it's going to look like. And essentially take that eye and divide it. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and lean the folder. Boom, we're done. We got that. And now we can rotate around that eye wherever we want. And it's got a cute little face too. Oh, he looks surprised that he's going to blow you away. Oh, I did not expect that. I feel like you need something on the back end to kind of balance him out a little bit. I don't know. Do like a little antenna. Just looking to see if I can do a bent, like a curl or something like that. See if there's like an option to do a curl. There's a twist. So we'll see what I can do with a twist. That's not gonna work. But there is at least a twist. Like I can try. There's gotta be something I can do with this. Okay. I wonder if I can do, if I just offset. I wonder if I offset that and then do a twist. Yeah. Kind of. Not really what I was looking for. I think there's a helix actually I can play with. So let me see if I can do a pinned. Yeah, there's a helix. We'll just use this. So I was going to put an antenna on this thing. We'll see if we can get this to work. All right, I think I can maybe bridge between these two pieces. I have no idea though. We will find out. So I'm going to merge down. And I don't know if this is going to work. We'll see. I might have too many faces here. Let's try this. Trim that off, make that into a new subtool, or not new subtool, new polygroup. Use the modeler. See if I can do a. We have a bridge option, so I should be able to do a bridge between two polys. So we'll see if this works. So we'll do first poly and second poly. kind of, not really what I was thinking. All right. I'll do a delete polygroup island. Delete that. Delete that. Let's see if I can maybe take off. It'll be easier for me to like remove edge loops if I can like just remove that end cap. Let's just delete that. Okay. So I think I need 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure. That's a lot. Let's do bridge, 2 holes. I could do an arc. And we'll try that. I'm gonna click the first hole. Look at the second hole. Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. That's awesome. And it worked. Mostly. Smooth it just a little bit so it doesn't look so awful. Then we can do an inflate. There it is. There we go. Yeah, that's great. I love that. Okay, that's cool. All right. Do another Z modeler. Just tell it to close. So that works. And still move topological. Just gonna kind of move this guy down just a little bit. Mats this off. Let's do it's off, invert it. Just gonna move that down like that. Cool. So that's part of the antenna at least. Maybe we could do it out the back end like that. And then we could have the tail go out the back. And I gotta go check in the sun soon. Let's do a zero mesh. There we go. Do a little quick bend curve. We're gonna change. Gotta go check on him. Anyway, so it's got like a little bit like a tail. So that'll be cool. All right, I'm done. There's my turret. Let's do BPR. We'll do a, yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. Awesome. All right, guys. See you in class.